All right, guys. All right, Profit Taker here. Make sure you follow me, like, and subscribe on all platforms. I will be doing daily, weekly market updates. I'll break down your charts, but I need you to put them in this Trading View. I want Trading View to be my number one source to why I do these charts. Um, I love Trading View platform. It's my favorite platform in the world. I tried everything else. You guys gotta, get away from Think and Swim if you can. It's so many things you can do in this Trading View, and it's only getting better. All right, that's my shameless plug on Trading View. I don't like. I just want you guys to be successful. Like I said, it's Profit Taker here. The name is the name. My name is my name, right? Profit Taker. So take your profits. It never hurts to take profits. All right. So I'm gonna just give you a couple things that's going on. The market was a bit choppy today. We're in earnings season, so you're gonna get some wild volatility. You know, I could show you a couple different little indicators to use, but I'm gonna make this video I wanted to be less than 10 minutes, right? Uh Entertainment purposes only. If you copy what I do, you will lose money. All right. So on this chart, you got your earnings, when earnings come out. This is NBIS, right? NBIS. So Nebius Group. All right. So I am let me start out with the economic calendar first. So on Finviz, you don't need elite. You really don't need it, right? Starts out saying US stocks closed lower as chip rebound faded or climbed. Um, Nothing really to worry about. What I'm gonna do is go hit a calendar, and then I want to go to this week and see what's really important. So you got ADP, employment change. That's a little two button, right? Um, you got crude oil, big, big, big. Crude oil is everything. If oil, lower, like reserves, anything that's going to push oil up is going to really affect the market, right? You got 30-year mortgage rate, and then you also have some more oil and gas stuff. So just keep an eye out. I would not be holding any trades, you know, um, after the market closed tomorrow. If you're up, close your position. Um, and then the following day, you got the Fed on Thursday. So I'm definitely not holding any positions after Wednesday. All right. Um, what I love about this too is you got earnings here. It tells you everything that kind of be earnings. I mean, dividends that's coming up. Man, it has everything in here. So I would say if you don't use FinViz, look at it. I mean, I don't get anything out of telling you to use it other than trying to make sure that you're profitable. Um, it has charts, portfolio, insider trading, all that good stuff. So anyway, check it out if you can. I did look at PM Philip Morris. It hit an all-time high. So that tells you right there, stocks hitting an all-time high. That should tell you that, the market is not crashing because we're getting all-time highs. Mag 7, we're getting all-time highs. So market's not crashing. All right, let's get back to the chart. All right, I'm gonna take this Nebius off and kind of give you a breakdown. So Nebius, as you can see, it was making higher lows and higher highs, right? Higher low, higher high, and then it started fading, right? So right now you're going down, right? So let's see what you pick up. I'm gonna go to the weekly chart because obviously, if I start at the daily, right, the weekly would be the higher time frame that I want to get to. And I see you have some type of consolidation here, right? So let me fade back to the 2 day, right? So I can find some type of um level. I like to find a level. So on the 2 day, I really like this right here, right? I like this area right here because this is kind of where you have some space in between here. So um I'm gonna go I am going to just get my rectangle. I'm going to go here and I'm going to draw that across, right? Um, and remember, you need to close below this level to be bearish on the 2 day chart. Weekly chart, you still got room because you popped up. Now, this can pop down into here and touch it again, but you see these two big wicks here, which means there's some prices there. you got some money sitting there, and you got this wick sitting at the top, right? So all this is good to hold up price. I do think you can get a bounce and you can come up. I think it'll be a temporary bounce, but I do think you'll get a bounce and come up. Let's go to the 4 hour, right? Top down analysis, right? So you see how the 4 hour tapped into that level, right? Tapped into that level. Now, if you look, you got here, you went down. You got here, you held. So I would love to see this level come back down tomorrow, you know, come back down tomorrow to that 170, right? And then go up. Now, mind you, I don't think it'll do that. I do think it'll probably get about right here and then start fizzling out, and then it'll need to do something else. But I mean, even that alone, right? If you look at that move, if you go and take your long position, right? You do a stop below that, target that. What is that? 2.5, almost 3%, right? Risk to reward. And really, you can actually, you can go as high as you want if you got enough time. But there for me is fine. On tomorrow, that's enough right there to get you going. Um, so you got, you know, you got a shorter stop, right? I would actually put my stop like right below here because I'm not giving it all that, but it all depends on you, right? So I do think this is a good one. And if you look at it, it's already at 191 already. It's already up here already. So you kind of missed it. You want to pull back. You want to buy that pullback, right? So if you can get that pullback, that'd be great. All right. Let's get off of that. Let's look at SMH. Right, let's check out SMH. I did already draw levels on SMH. Um, let me actually take this off. All right, so what was I seeing on SMH? I actually um, saw a rebound. So I actually saw it coming up, retesting some of these higher levels before going lower. So um, it kind of tapped this level right here, right? That wick level right there, got inside. I do think this might hold up and it might come up to this. It may be able to come up to this like a short reprieve up to this 583. But as you can see, it tapped there once and then it broke. It tapped here, and then it broke, and then it tapped here. So even if it comes back up, I still think you come down. So I think you'll do something like, right? I think you'll do something like so, like what I had on the chart already. I think you'll do, and like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. I think you do this, boom, up, and then you come down, break that, so you can have a clear shift of structure back, down, down, and then what you do with that is, hold on, I don't know, this is crazy. What you do with that is you complete this move to this level right here. You want to complete the move, and then you can worry about getting a market structure change to go back up. But I do think if you hit this level, let's go down to the smaller chart, right? I do think you're bouncing off this. You'll come down here tomorrow, retest this level and go up like so. You'll come back down here tomorrow, retest this level and go up, which would be nice. But I still think this is your, you can get in here if you want. You can actually, to be honest with you, you can get in here and fill this gap to 588.78 and then come down. I think you fill a gap, which would be a better move if you can fill that gap. Um, so yeah, so as you can see, everything is setting up for a bounce, but I still think even if you get that bounce, ultimately you're gonna go back down. I mean, you've already kind of faded to the downs. You kind of broke structure and faded downward. So um, I do think you'll get a nice bounce. And I know I keep saying bounce. Let me go to TSM. All semis look really good right now. I'm gonna go to TSM. Pop in TSM. Look at that. Look at TSM. Kind of broke out of this upward wedge. You know, I had this. I didn't take this one. You can't take everything. So as you can see, this level right here kind of held. So this is the level right. This is the daily. This is the level right here. Right. Tap into this level. went up, right? So that's going up. I do think tomorrow you can come back down, tap into this level a little bit more, and then go up. But like I said, you know, you only can go so far because you've already broken down. You already shifted. So, I do think like you get it within here, you get within here, and then you got to come back down and test some of these lower levels, right? You got to get more money. So you got to take out some of this liquidity down here. So I think you can come down here and actually on TSM, right? I think you can feel this gap all the way down here to 346, right? So this would be like come up here and then come back down, right? I think you gotta feel this gap at 346, or at least get to this 200-day. Think earnings, no matter what they get during earnings, um, it'll still move down, no matter what, before going up. All right. Um, Other than that, I mean, it's not really much more to break down. Like I said, you should get a short bounce for a couple days, and get a little bit of reprieve. But I think ultimately you're gonna go back down. Do I like anything to the upside, like for good? Not really. I was looking at a chat message I just got. Do I like anything to the upside? Bitcoin is one that is playing around with this level right here on 65. I do think if it gets above the 65, I think it wants to get to the 72, or as this comes down, I think if this takes a little bit of time, this 200-day can come down to like 70. It can hit that and drop, because as you can see on Bitcoin, uh I, I like to I'm gonna take everything off for you guys. On Bitcoin, you have all this level that needs to be tapped into. This right here is called as you guys know, fair value gap. So if you look at that fair value gap right here, you're gonna be able to tap into this level here, which you really came close to, right? So when you are looking for liquidity, you really want to take out this. You want to take this line out. So it's perfect because, you know, this should come up and take this out. Now, don't get me wrong. This high went lower, but didn't break this high. Like, let me get my arrow out. So you see how you got this right here, broke structure here. That low broke that, came up, but didn't take out this high or this high, right? I needed I needed when it broke this for this to take out this, but really needed it to take out this. That would have been nice if it could have took out this high here, because then I knew when it pulled back, it would have been a real move. Right now, this looks like it's gonna come down, right? Come down and then go back up. But I do think you get higher levels on Bitcoin, right? So if you get higher levels on Bitcoin, you should get higher levels on MSTR, right? You should get higher levels on all of the crypto stocks as well. So that's really all I got. Keep an eye on oil. So oil is going to be like your USO. As long as oil's breaking out in these levels, these different levels, let me take this off my chart. As long as oil's breaking out all these different levels, as you see it tapped into this level here and then shot straight up. However, you're in this zone right here now. You're in this gap. So if you're in this gap, right, you can pull back here. So if oil coming into the gap, couldn't break above, wicks it, comes down, that gives you what you need to get that move on, Bitcoin, SMH temporarily, right? When it comes down, it's probably just going to come down and mitigate some of this straight up candles, right? When it mitigates that, it'll keep going up. I do think oil starts to move a little bit. It's time for oil to really start to move. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, yeah. Oil is gonna start to move because it needs to get up to some of these higher levels. So I do think oh, this was taken out. Beautiful. Yeah. So I do think ultimately oil does go higher, but I do think it's going to get a pullback with all the news that's coming out to calm it down a little bit. Um, Really, that's all I got, guys. Like I said, it's Profit Taker here. Like, if you have any stocks you need me to break down, please put them in Trading View. I also have X, and I also have um, YouTube. So at any one of those platforms, guys, put the stocks you want me to break down in there. I'll break the stock down for you to the best of my ability. Like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a great day. Profit Taker here. I'm out.